For centuries, across every corner of the world, people have swapped stories about creatures that blur the line between fact and fantasy. Some are pure nightmare fuel, others mesmerizing, and many are wrapped in mystery. From the dark forests of Europe to the sun-baked temples of Asia, these mythical beings have captured the human imagination, and sometimes terrified it. But here's the real kicker. What if some of those legends had a sliver of truth behind them? Today we're diving into the wild world of 7 legendary creatures. The Basilisk. First up, the Basilisk. This bad boy was one of the most feared monsters in Western mythology. Half serpent, half nightmare. The Basilisk's stare was said to be so lethal it could turn you to stone on the spot. Ancient Greeks and Romans swore it was born from a rooster's egg hatched by a toad. Yeah, pretty wild. And that its venom could literally poison the air. Some historians think the story started with real-world encounters with snakes or crocs, whose piercing stares freaked people out long before they understood animal behavior. As the legend spread, people amped it up. The serpent became a full-blown creature of doom. Even today, the basilisk stands as a symbol of nature's deadly side, quiet, beautiful, but absolutely unforgiving. But here's the twist. Could those tales of turning to stone actually come from real cases of paralysis or sudden death? Maybe this monster wasn't pure fantasy after all. The Leprechaun. Now let's hop over to Ireland, home of green hills, rainbows, and the ever-mischievous leprechaun. Everyone knows the pop culture version, the tiny guy in green guarding his pot of gold. But the original tales? Way darker. Early leprechauns weren't cute. They were tricksters, loners, and sometimes straight-up nasty. They were known for vanishing, at will, and playing mind games with anyone who tried to steal their treasure. Their gold at the end of the rainbow wasn't about wealth, it was about hidden wisdom and the idea that truth is always just out of reach. Some scholars even think leprechauns symbolized Ireland's resistance to invasion, small but impossible to beat, so maybe the real treasure they guarded wasn't gold, but secrets from Ireland's forgotten past. Meet the Kelpie, a shape-shifting water spirit that looks like a gorgeous horse but hides a dark side. It's said to lurk in lochs and rivers, luring travelers to climb on its back before diving straight into the water. It's basically the ultimate cautionary tale, a reminder that beauty can be deadly and nature doesn't play nice. Back then, these stories probably warned folks to respect deep water and unpredictable currents. But on a deeper level, the Kelpie feels like a metaphor for temptation. That thing that looks too good to be true but ends up pulling you under. Maybe it wasn't just about drowning in rivers, but about drowning in our own desires. The Harpy. Straight from ancient Greece and Rome comes the Harpy, half woman, half bird, and fully terrifying. These shrieking, winged beings were known to swoop down, snatch food, and torment anyone who crossed them. In some stories, they carried souls to the underworld. In others, they punished those who angered the gods. But there's another way to look at it. Maybe the Harpy was never just a monster. Maybe she was a symbol of consequence, the embodiment of guilt, fate, or even the backlash that follows greed and pride. It's wild how one myth can flip depending on who's telling it. Angel to some, tormentor to others. The Ogre. Now, the Ogre, the giant, man-eating brute that's haunted bedtime stories forever. From Jack and the Beanstalk to ancient European folk tales, ogres were the stuff of nightmares, massive, ugly, and unstoppable. But they weren't just random villains. They represented the wild, untamed world outside the safety of civilization. Almost every culture has its version. Japan's Oni, Persia's Divs, even African myths about giant spirits. So maybe the ogre isn't about a literal monster. Maybe it's about the beast within us all. The part that's raw, primal, and hard to control. The Tengu. Heading east to Japan, we find the Tengu, a winged, human-bird hybrid with major martial arts skills and a bad reputation. Early stories painted them as troublemakers, tricking travelers and stirring chaos. But later, they became protectors, guardians of sacred mountains and symbols of discipline. The Tengu's duality says a lot. The same power that can destroy can also protect. In a world where nature and spirituality overlap, The Tengu reminds us that strength isn't about domination, it's about balance. The Apsara. Finally, the Apsara, a celestial dancer from Hindu and Buddhist tradition, graceful, radiant, and mesmerizing. Apsaras were believed to bridge the gap between the divine and the human. They represent beauty, art, and spiritual energy, but also temptation. They remind us that even the pursuit of perfection can pull us away from inner peace if we lose balance. Whether as symbols of devotion or distraction, the Apsaras show that enlightenment often walks hand in hand with desire. So after all these legends lore, the Basilisk, Leprechaun, Kelpie, Harpy, Ogre, Tengu, and Apsara, one question still hits hard. Were these creatures just made-up stories to explain what we didn't understand? Or do they hide pieces of history we've forgotten? Echoes of ancient cultures, rituals, or real encounters that time has twisted into myth? Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between, drifting in the mist of old forests or waiting in the depths of forgotten waters, still watching, still waiting to be found.